everyone, and welcome back. I recently shared with you my most anticipated thriller releases for January 2025. One thing you need to know is if they are on my most anticipated book releases, I am predicting that they will be a 5-star book. To start this series, I'm gonna review for you The Business Trip by Jessie Garcia. I was really interested in this book because of the premise. I thought that it was unique or different from the kind of tropes that I typically go for in thrillers. Now, this book starts with two different women. One of them is in an abusive relationship, physically and emotionally abusive relationship. She's still able to work, but basically he's controlling every single part of her life. And she manages to save enough money to leave him, to buy a plane ticket and leave him, go to another state and disappear. We also have this other lady's life who is very successful. She's very independent. She just got divorced and is living by herself in a very nice neighborhood, in a really nice house, but living by herself and feeling kind of lonely. That's a feeling I get for, the description of her life. Now, both of these ladies board the same plane, and they eventually have to sit together. All I'm going to say from that point on is that cryptic messages are being sent to their family and friends back home. The lady that was being abused, she's starting to send all these weird messages as if she met this person in the plane or since she left the house, and that she's very happy. And then there's this other lady, the successful woman that was going on a business trip, that she's sending these text messages to the guy, to her neighbor who's taking care of her cat. And they are very random and weird messages that you would just be like, okay, can you call me because I need to talk to you? Like, it sounded like it wasn't them sending the message. Also, they didn't know each other, but they ended up sitting by each other, which is another part of the story. Now, by the end, they just disappear, and that's the premise. And I thought, well, that sounds kind of interesting because I'm wondering if they knew this guy from before, if they met him on the plane, but it's very random that both of them living different lifestyles are just doing the same thing. But now, as far as what I think about this book is very simple, and I'm not going to waste too much time on it, but I'm going to try to explain myself in the best and most respectful way possible. I have to say that my pet peeve is simplistic writing. And I'm not saying very young writing, like juvenile. I thought that this was too wordy. Like, these are the notes that I was taking as I was reading this book. This was long-winded, redundant, rambling, difficult to follow, and in the end it turned into just very boring. It's a really nice concept, but it's not executed right, in my humble opinion, and for what I like on my books. And I think it has to do with the writing. I think that if the writing was taken in a different direction, it could have been a wonderful story. I really did enjoy kind of the twists and things that were happening along, and how this abused woman turned into something completely different when she got into this plane, and you can see her desperation, and but it's just so hard to follow when it's long-winded. There's a part, and I read it on my Kindle and I didn't bring it, but there's a part where the businesswoman is packing to go to this trip. And she is describing what she's putting inside her suitcase. Like, I'm gonna get this blue skirt with this, and I'm not joking you. It took about a page of descriptions about what she was packing for this trip. And how is that tied to anything in the story? It's not. I thought, let me give it a chance. Maybe this is going somewhere with it. And the way that some brands and it was so much information for the sake of adding words to to a book itself. I don't know if she was going for a minimum word count or what it was, but I feel like the story, if she could have stayed on the story, maybe it would have been a shorter kind of book, but more action packed and seriously a more interesting thriller. But because it was using so many words to describe things that were irrelevant to the story, it lost me. And I found myself skimming through the pages because I knew that at least 60% of what was written in every page was going to be information that was supposed to tell us something, but it wasn't going to be tied to anything of the story. It wasn't going to be irrelevant to the story. So in the end, it was just long-winded rambling and unnecessary details that I didn't need to know. So unfortunately, this was a 1-star book for me. So I'm starting this series in the worst possible way. Writing style like this, it's just the kind of thing that I can't recommend to anybody, and that's basically on me because I really thought, because of the premise, that this was going to be a 5-star book. So anyway, let me know, what is your pet peeve in books? Like, what is something that makes you give that book a 1-star review? Like, what is it? Is it a trope? Is it a theme? Is it the writing style? What is really something that you say, no, this is where I draw the line? I would love to know what that is for you. So thank you so much for being here today, guys. I truly appreciate your support and coming back to watch my reviews, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.